Each bull market, IDOs and Launchpad starts getting traction. This time I analyzed over 100 different IDOs and around 10 different Launchpads to see what are the things you should be careful of when you're investing in Launchpads, how they evolved over time, and is it actually worth investing into them. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Željko and welcome to CryptoGrid. So if we take a look at the history of Launchpads, I think that people started using them in crypto space back in 2016 or 2017, something in that area. And usually we had seed round, private round, and then public round afterwards. And the goal for the projects was to collect funding from investors, while the goal of investors was to cash out as much money as possible. And when we look into the IDOs in the past, usually what we could see is that as soon as the projects are released to the market, people immediately start selling them, which pretty much creates famous dead coin pattern and incentivize future potential investors as well. So pretty much once people start seeing that pattern, they would stop investing into that project in the future as well. In the bull market of 2017, projects pretty much operated in this way, while afterwards CEOs and high-level executives realized that that's not a great way how they should operate, and pretty much at the time they added vesting periods. So that pretty much means that you would have the token locked for a certain period of time. For some projects it's like 3 months, for other projects it can be even up to like 5 or even 10 years. The main purpose of this was to prevent early investors, team members, and pretty much everyone to sell their tokens immediately as they are released on the market, and to incentivize future potential investors to join and invest into the project. So if you look into the chart and analysis that I did, this sheet is actually from 2021, when investing in IDOs was even more profitable than it was today. So we have two sheets. Pretty much the first one compares performance of IDO phase in comparison to all-time high, where the second one compares the market price in comparison to all-time high. As you can see, this number is lower because as soon as the projects were released on the market, they pretty much had lower price usually. So if we take a look for each Launchpad, for example, I measured what was the time to get to the top of the market. I looked at IDO price, I looked at the launch price, I compared it all with the current price, and I did a comparison when we exclude the best and worst performing IDO here and here, just so we get median results. And the most important thing, and one conclusion with which I came up, is that we either get a sharp increase in price followed by a decline until pretty much the project dies, or we either have one top and then we have some consolidation, pullback and a consolidation phase, another lower high, and then pretty much the project dies. The fourth scenario which we get is that we have pretty much project slowly dying over time. And actually the only good scenario is this example, and this is what projects are trying to achieve now. So they have a consolidation phase, and at peak of a bull market they want to have a top and continuation of some consolidation, which would lead to another local top in the future. The way how they are actually looking to achieve this is by unlocking smaller amounts of coins over time and creating a longer vesting periods. Also, you can see from the investing perspective that the earlier that you would invest, the better you would be, and you would have much higher returns if you invested in the IDO phase in comparison to if you would invest after the launch. This was how the things in the past was. Now, majority of the tokens are locked and you're unable to sell them after the project is launched. Instead, you can maybe sell 5% of the amount that you invested in each month or something like that. For the project, this is great because it allows them to grow in terms of market cap without having some blow tops and sharp pullbacks. And after some time and after majority of the tokens are actually released into the circulation, people would maybe see that coin as a long accumulation phase, and it would actually incentivize them to invest into these projects after some time. And at projects where this is done the right way, they will have pretty much the term pattern which I showed you. So they will have some type of accumulation phase, then they will have a small increase in price, then another accumulation phase before they actually start pumping hard. Also, if you look into CryptoRank.io website, you can see, if you look at all-time high returns, that these numbers are insane. It's huge returns, blah blah blah. But when you look at like current returns, you can see that majority of the projects are actually not even at 1x, and pretty much you would lose money on each of them. So if you look at it from this perspective, what this means that actually all these projects gave you opportunity at some moment that you can actually invest into them pretty much below ideal price at one moment. And why this is great? Because it gives you the time. If you invest into the IDO, you can see the team, you can see their ideas and everything, but you won't know how they will actually execute everything. And there are some projects that show really good at first, but after some time they might have some legal problems, like Gala Games for example, and you never know how this will settle, and maybe you just don't want to risk your money by putting it into that type of the project. Also, if you invest into IDOs, you will have a lot of your money frozen pretty much for a certain period of time. So if you take a look at CDFI Fund, for example, which is one of the main launchpads for the gaming sector, you can see that you need 500 fund for the lowest tier, and you need 100k fund for the highest tier, which means that the fund is between $2 and $3. This means that you need between 1 and 1.5k for the lowest tier, and you need between 200 and 300k for the highest tier to get guaranteed allocation into their altcoins. So for somebody, this amount isn't that big, but I think, for example, when you have price movements as you have on some coins, for example, you have it on Render, you have it on Matic, if you just buy it lower, you can easily get like 10%, 20% in just a single swing trade, which is like way easier in my opinion. When you're just looking at the list of launchpads, you can see that these are amazing returns, but actually you might just not be even able to sell it at those times, or you might miss it, and then those returns would be way diminished in comparison to what you can see here. So this is not even realistic to expect. Also, some of the projects can have multiple rounds, and this is something that you need to be careful of, and you need to look like how much price increase. For example, you can see that here you could buy that like 0.02 at a seed phase, while it's like 6x higher when it comes to the IDO phase. And this is just one of the examples. So you need to be careful, because when these people start making profits and start selling, these people will lose money for sure. And if you look into the chart of this coin, you can see that pretty much is dying as the time goes on. Another big red flag is if you see some insane API, usually you can expect the price to decrease over time. Now when you look into the projects, a lot of them improve their tokenomics. For example, if you go to the CDFI Fund again, and if you go, for example, to one of the latest projects, Plexus, you can see that if we go to the vesting period and look in the chart, you can see that a lot of these projects actually takes long time to unlock all tokens, and a lot of them actually release just a small percentage into circulation, which is, as I said, it's great for the project. It's not that great for the investors, because pretty much once this period ends, like the total supply will be like more than 10x than it initially was, and this will diminish the price of a coin a lot over time. Still, this is good from the perspective that the people that actually believe that the project is good, that the fundamentals are good, they will keep their percentages as they are unlocking, while the other people that are just looking for returns and pretty much immediate returns, they will sell their coins once each of the unlocks comes, and they will hope that the demand for the project will keep up with this amount of people that are actually selling. Another thing to look at is IDO performance is pretty seasonal in terms that they perform really well at peaks of bull market, but pretty much at other times they are not performing that great. Also, another thing is that you can often see a lot of bots joining, and actually the best projects are usually the ones that will require you to join early on Discord or to bring new members in or something like that. That's not super easy to do. Also, this might be double-edged sword, but usually when the first unlocks doesn't perform that well, usually the following one performs in a similar way. If on a first vesting period unlocks you have bad performance and a lot of sell-off, in the following one you will have the similar situation. If demand keeps up with the sell-off, you will have the rest of them performing solid as well. One place where you can look that up as well is token.unlocks.up, for example. And if we look, let's say, a good example for that is Yield Guild Games. And if you look at the price of Yield Guild Games, in the last year it's pretty much even increasing. And if you look at the way how their tokens are unlocking, you can see that it takes a while until they unlock all of the tokens, and you can see that demand managed to catch up with the sell-off. Another thing to take into consideration and to look for is when the tokens for each of the parties will unlock. As you can see, their founder tokens are unlocking pretty late, which is good in my opinion, and the performance of a token will depend a lot on it as well. If founders are selling a lot of their own tokens, that's usually not a good sign. As I said, when you look at this type of tokenomics, you can see that they have like 6.6% of total supply at the start, while they are unlocking pretty much 1 billion tokens at the end. Initially, it was like 66 million. So in this case, you need around 13x of the market cap to remain the same price of each token. So this is great for the project because it allows project to grow in the long term, but it's not that great for the investors because 13x is not a small number. The thing that is actually on our side in crypto is that crypto is still small and that these projects can go 10x, 20x up easily in the longer period of time. Still, in my opinion, in crypto space, I don't want to have my crypto locked for a certain period of time. I always want to have opportunity to buy back more or sell more. I remember first time when I staked a lot of coins and I could just watch how the bull market is passing over me. So I don't want to end up in that situation ever again. I'm not against IDOs if it's something that attracts your attention and you think that it has a huge potential in the long run. I think then it's a good moment to go into it. Otherwise, I think you can always wait later stages and get it at least at not much higher price, but at much higher conviction rate. So I'm looking forward to hear, are there any ideas that you're looking at currently? Also, I hope that you like this raw type of a video. Please write me in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.